In a cluttered laboratory brimming with bizarre gadgets and unidentifiable experiments, Dr. Alex Jenkins stood on the precipice of genius, or disaster. He was one of those scientists whose brilliance was often overshadowed by an unparalleled knack for accidents. Today, as he adjusted the dials on his latest invention, a sleek, metal box pulsing with neon lights, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go spectacularly wrong. "Okay, Mr. Whiskers, time to make history," he announced, holding up a small, furry hamster. The creature squirmed in his grasp, its tiny eyes wide with confusion. He'd decided that the tiny rodent was perfect for this test, the first ever teleportation experiment. Sure, it was a bit unconventional to use a pet, but he was certain the hamster would make a speedy recovery. With a dramatic flourish, he placed Mr. Whiskers into the machine, which hummed to life. The lights flickered, and with a series of beeps that sounded eerily like a robotic sneeze, the hamster vanished into thin air. Alex's heart raced. Success. Just as he was about to celebrate, a sudden zap echoed through the lab. The machine emitted a blinding flash, and in the next heartbeat, Mr. Whiskers reappeared, now sporting tiny goggles and looking utterly bewildered. "Welcome back. How do you feel?" Alex asked, peering closely. Mr. Whiskers blinked slowly, his expression unreadable, as if he were silently judging Alex's life choices, but before Alex could process the result, or the hamster's potential newfound intelligence, his device began to malfunction. The lights blinked wildly, and the air crackled with energy. With a gasp, he saw the portal form, a swirling vortex of colors and sounds that pulled at him like an insistent tide. "Wait, no. Not me," he shouted, clutching the edge of the table, but it was too late. The machine burped, and in an instant, Alex was whisked away, leaving behind the only logical universe he had ever known. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he noticed was the vibrant skyline, an explosion of colors that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. He was no longer in his lab. Instead, he found himself standing in the middle of a bustling street filled with people moving in synchronized harmony, as if choreographed by an unseen conductor. They zipped past him in sleek, futuristic outfits, their eyes glued to glowing screens that hovered just above their palms. "Welcome to the future," a voice chirped beside him. Alex turned to find a woman with strikingly bright hair and a smirk that could light up a dark room. "You look like you just stepped out of a museum exhibit on how not to time travel." I think I might be lost," he stammered, trying to regain his bearings. "Lost? Honey, this is the new normal. I'm Zara, tech guru and occasional rebel. What's your deal?" As they navigated through the crowd, Alex couldn't help but be impressed by the technology surrounding him. Holographic advertisements flitted through the air, selling everything from mood-enhancing chips to virtual reality vacations. A nearby vendor offered synthetic donuts that promised no calories, all joy. He chuckled, suddenly aware of how ridiculous this all seemed. "So, you're telling me I'm in a parallel universe?" he asked, half wondering if he was still dreaming. "Yup. And it's not all rainbows and flying cars, trust me," Zara replied, rolling her eyes. "We've got the best tech, but emotionally? Let's just say we've sacrificed a lot for progress." "What do you mean?" Alex asked, curiosity piqued. Zara gestured to the people around them, who moved with purpose but wore expressions that could only be described as vacant. "You see those folks? They're all plugged into something. Emotions? Those went out of style when we discovered how to optimize happiness through technology. Now, everyone's living a perfectly curated life, but nobody's really feeling anything." As she spoke, Alex's heart sank. This world, with all its glittering advances, seemed to lack the very essence of humanity. He'd always believed that technology should enhance life, not replace the messiness of genuine emotion. Is there any way to change it? He asked, feeling an unexpected weight on his shoulders. Zara studied him, a spark of interest igniting in her eyes. Well, there's a group of us who think emotions are worth fighting for. But we could use a brain like yours on the team. A rebellion? The idea thrilled him. It felt like something out of a bad sci-fi novel, but as he took in the stark reality around him, he realized how much he wanted to help. Days turned into weeks as Alex immersed himself in this new world. He met Zara's friends, hackers and dreamers who longed to restore feeling to their society. They met in a dimly lit warehouse, where the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and rebellion. Alex felt like a kid in a candy store, albeit one filled with contraband emotions. They devised plans, and each meeting revealed more absurdities of the world. One night, while discussing their next move, they laughed over a series of hilarious mishaps from their attempts to infiltrate corporate data centers. Alex, who was beginning to feel at home, found himself cracking jokes about his own clumsiness during the training sessions, where he had tried, and failed, repeatedly to use advanced gadgets without accidentally activating the fire alarm. But amidst the laughter, an uncomfortable truth lurked. Alex's growing affection for Zara complicated things. Her sharp wit and fierce determination drew him in, but he also felt the heavy weight of responsibility. What if their plan succeeded? Would he have to stay and face the consequences of their actions, or could he return to his own world and leave the chaos behind? One evening, after a particularly intense planning session, Zara caught him gazing out at the cityscape. "You're deep in thought, Dr. Jenkins. What's up?" "I'm just trying to figure out if we can really change anything," he admitted. "What if we fail?" "Failure is part of the process, Alex. But doing nothing? That's a guaranteed loss." Her gaze held steady, a flicker of vulnerability shining through her bravado. In that moment, Alex felt a rush of determination. "Let's do this," he said, a smile breaking across his face. "Let's make them feel again." Their plan unfolded quickly, an intricate web of hacking, emotional manipulation, and sheer audacity. As the date of their operation loomed closer, Alex realized how much he'd grown to care for Zara, and how much he wanted to see her world transformed. On the day of the heist, excitement tinged with anxiety coursed through him. They had a solid plan, but as they approached the towering corporate headquarters, now a fortress of technology and surveillance, he felt the gravity of their mission weigh on him. "Remember, if it all goes south, just grab Mr. Whiskers and run," Zara quipped, trying to ease the tension. The mention of the hamster lightened the mood, and he couldn't help but laugh. As they breached the security systems, everything began to blur together: high-tech alarms, frantic commands, and adrenaline-fueled moments of clarity. They weaved through layers of defenses, each breakthrough met with a mix of triumph and fear. Alex's heart raced, knowing that the outcome hinged not just on technology but on the human connections they were fighting to restore. Just as they reached the central control room, alarms blared around them. "We've been made," one of the hackers shouted, panic rising. "Stay calm," Zara yelled, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We just need a few more minutes." But time was slipping away, and Alex felt the pressure mounting. This was not just about hacking a system, it was about hacking the very fabric of their society. He worked furiously, his mind racing through algorithms, codes, and equations, searching for a solution. Come on," he muttered under his breath, sweat beading on his forehead. Just as he began to feel the walls closing in, he heard Zara's voice ring out. "Alex, We need you. We can't do this without you." Her faith in him ignited something deep within. He pushed aside the noise, focusing on the task at hand. Finally, he found the core program that controlled the emotional dampeners, the very thing that had stripped humanity from this world. With a deep breath, he initiated the hack, fingers flying over the keyboard. In that instant, it felt as if the universe held its breath. A pulse of energy surged through the building, and Alex knew they were close. He glanced at Zara, who nodded, her eyes fierce and unwavering. "Let's bring back feeling," she shouted, and together they hit the final command. A blinding flash filled the room, enveloping them in light. Alex closed his eyes, heart pounding, unsure of what would happen next. Would they succeed? Or was this just another hopeful dream, ready to shatter? When the light faded, Alex opened his eyes to chaos. The control room was filled with a cacophony of gasps and cheers. He staggered to his feet, taking in the scene. The monitors that once displayed cold, calculated data now showed vibrant colors and lively expressions. Emotions had flooded back into the world. Zara beamed at him, her smile radiant as she hugged him tightly. "We did it, Alex. We actually did it." The air buzzed with energy, and as people began to connect again, laughter erupted in the hallways. It was messy and beautiful, the raw chaos of human emotion returning in full force. Alex felt a wave of relief wash over him, but also an undeniable longing. He was part of something incredible, yet a part of him wondered about his own universe. In the midst of the jubilation, a thought struck him. He had a choice to make. Did he stay here and help rebuild this world, or did he return to his own, where technology was imperfect but the heart still beat? As the celebrations continued, Alex stepped outside, needing a moment to think. The city glowed with a renewed warmth, the skies tinged with hues he had never noticed before. He found a quiet spot on a rooftop, watching people embrace their newfound emotions. Zara joined him, her expression thoughtful. "What's on your mind?" "I've been thinking about home," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I love what we've accomplished, but I can't help but wonder if I'm meant to be here." "Home is where you feel you can make a difference," she said softly. "You've already made one here." Her words resonated deep within him. He had fought for something meaningful, and in doing so, he had found a new sense of purpose. But did he really want to leave this connection behind? "Zara, don't say it," she interrupted, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "You don't have to decide right now. Just know that you're always welcome here." He could feel the weight of his decision pressing down on him. The thought of leaving felt like ripping a piece of his heart out, but he also knew he couldn't abandon the life he had built back home. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and purples, Alex took a deep breath. "I need time to think." "Take all the time you need," Zara replied, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Whatever you choose, just know you're not alone." In the days that followed, Alex immersed himself in the revival efforts. The city transformed before his eyes, vibrant with emotion and humanity. He spent countless hours working alongside Zara and the rebels, each moment solidifying the bond they shared. Yet, every night, as he lay awake, the question of where he truly belonged loomed larger than ever. Finally, one evening, as he watched Zara passionately rallying the team, he realized something pivotal. The battle they fought was not just for this world, it was for humanity itself. The choice to stay or leave was more than a personal one, it was about the legacy they could create together. Gathering his courage, he approached Zara after the meeting, heart racing. "I've made my decision," he began, feeling the weight of the moment. She met his gaze, eyes filled with anticipation. "What is it?" "I want to stay," he declared, conviction lacing his words. "This world needs hope, and I want to help rebuild it, together with you." Her face broke into a radiant smile, relief and joy dancing in her eyes. "Are you sure?" "It won't be easy, but it will be worth it." "I've never been more certain about anything," he replied, feeling a surge of hope. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alex embraced his new role in this parallel universe, determined to bridge the gap between technology and humanity. Together with Zara and the others, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the days turned into weeks, the city pulsed with life. People began to connect again, rediscovering laughter, joy, and even sorrow, everything that made them human. Alex became a key figure in the movement, helping to navigate the complexities of technology and emotion, his bond with Zara deepening with every shared moment that in time. They developed a project to integrate emotional intelligence into technology, ensuring that advancements would never again come at the cost of human connection. They envisioned a future where technology enhanced rather than replaced the human experience, and through it all, Alex often thought back to Mr. Whiskers, the little hamster who had inadvertently set him on this incredible journey. In a world of cold precision, he had discovered warmth, laughter, and most importantly, the power of choice. With each passing day, Alex felt more at home in this new universe, a place where the heart could beat freely, where hope could flourish, and where he could truly make a difference. And as he stood by Zara one evening, watching the sunset together, he knew he had finally found his destiny. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the skyline, Alex felt a profound sense of belonging wash over him. He stood on the rooftop beside Zara, the wind tousling their hair, a gentle reminder of the world around them. The sounds of the city pulsed below, a vibrant melody of laughter, conversation, and the distant hum of flying cars. "Look at them," Zara said, her voice tinged with wonder. "They're finally living again. It's amazing to see." Alex nodded, watching as people strolled hand in hand, their faces animated with the kind of joy that had been absent for far too long. It was a stark contrast to the sterile efficiency of the world he had first encountered. "You really did this," he said, glancing at her, admiration shining in his eyes. "You brought them back to life." "Not just me. It was all of us," she replied, her modesty endearing. "But I'm glad you're here. I couldn't have done it without you." The moment lingered, a delicate balance of friendship and something deeper. He wanted to tell her how much she meant to him, how her passion ignited a fire within him that he hadn't known existed. But the words hung heavy on his tongue, caught between fear and excitement. "Do you think we can keep it going?" he finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "This momentum, I mean. What if they forget again?" Zara turned to him, her expression serious. "That's why we're building a community, Alex. It's not just about one big change, it's about ongoing connections, making sure people remember what it feels like to be human." She paused, her eyes searching his. "And it's about education. We need to teach future generations the importance of feeling, of empathy." Alex felt a spark of inspiration. "We could create workshops, bring in speakers who can share their stories, their struggles. We could help them learn to connect. That's the spirit." Zara exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "I've already got a few ideas. We could have storytelling nights, art classes, anything that encourages expression." Their conversation flowed easily, ideas bouncing back and forth like the energy of the city below. As they brainstormed, Alex felt an exhilarating rush. This was what he had always wanted, to make a real impact, to help shape a future that valued not just progress but the very essence of being alive. Days turned into weeks, and their initiative gained traction. They organized events that drew people from all walks of life. The first storytelling night was a roaring success, filled with laughter, tears, and a sense of unity that wrapped around the crowd like a warm blanket. People shared their experiences, heartbreak, joy, dreams lost and found, opening doors to conversations that had long been shut. As he listened to the stories unfold, Alex marveled at the resilience of the human spirit. He found himself drawn to a young woman who spoke about overcoming grief through art, her words resonating with everyone in the room. Zara stood by his side, her hand resting on his arm, sharing smiles and glances that felt charged with unspoken connection. "Isn't it incredible?" she whispered during a quiet moment. "Just look at them. They're healing." "It's beautiful," Alex replied, his gaze drifting back to the stage. "I never thought I'd find a place where I could truly belong." Zara's expression softened. "You've always belonged, Alex. You just had to find the right space for your light to shine." That evening, they stayed late to help clean up, the remnants of joy still buzzing in the air. As they stacked chairs and cleared tables, a comfortable silence settled between them. Finally, Alex couldn't hold back any longer. "Zara," he began, stopping to meet her gaze. "I've been thinking about everything we've built together, and about us." She looked up, her expression earnest, and the air grew thick with anticipation. "What is it?" "I want to be more than just friends. I care about you, and I want to explore that," he confessed, his heart racing. Her eyes widened, surprise melting into a smile. "You have no idea how long I've hoped you'd say that. I feel the same way, but I didn't want to mess up what we have." Relief flooded through him, mingling with exhilaration. "So, what does this mean for us?" "We take it one step at a time," she said, her voice soft yet confident. "We keep doing what we're doing, but with the added bonus of knowing we're building something together." "Together," he echoed, the word feeling monumental. They shared a moment, the weight of their connection settling comfortably between them, grounding him in this new reality. As the weeks passed, Alex and Zara navigated their blossoming relationship alongside their mission. They worked late nights in the warehouse, brainstorming new initiatives, their laughter echoing in the otherwise quiet space. The synergy between them was palpable, each interaction a blend of companionship and growing intimacy. One afternoon, while sorting through supplies for an upcoming community art fair, Zara glanced up at him, mischief dancing in her eyes. "You know, I could use a partner in crime for my next project. Think you can handle it?" "Depends on the crime," he shot back playfully. "What are we talking about here?" "A surprise performance at the art fair. I want to showcase people's stories through music, but I need someone to help organize it." "You in?" "Absolutely. I've always wanted to be part of a revolutionary art heist," he joked, but excitement bubbled within him. "What do you need from me?" "Let's start by gathering participants. I'll handle the logistics, and you can use that scientist brain of yours to make sure we don't blow anything up," she teased, her smile infectious. "Hey, that was one time," he protested, laughing. "I'm way more competent now." As they dove into planning, they uncovered talents hidden within their community. Musicians, poets, and storytellers emerged, each eager to share their voice. They worked tirelessly, and as the day of the fair approached, a palpable sense of excitement filled the air. The event arrived, and the park transformed into a vibrant canvas. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and art installations dotted the landscape. Alex watched in awe as people gathered, their faces lit with anticipation. "Can you believe this? Zara said, her eyes sparkling as she surveyed the crowd. We really pulled it off. Together, he reminded her, feeling the weight of their joint efforts. As the performances began, the park came alive with a symphony of stories. Each act resonated with authenticity, drawing in the audience like moths to a flame. Alex felt a profound sense of pride swell in his chest. He had found a family in this world, not just with Zara but with every individual who shared their truth. Each story, each performance, wove a tapestry of connection that resonated deep within him. Later that evening, as the sun set and the stars emerged, Zara turned to him, her expression softening. You did so much for this, Alex. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. It's easy when the cause is this meaningful, he replied, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. And it's even easier with you by my side. They shared a quiet moment, the music fading into the background as the world around them blurred. Zara stepped closer, her breath warm against his cheek. There's something I've wanted to say. Before she could finish, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd, pulling them back to reality. They both laughed, the moment shifting into something light and playful. Let's celebrate. Alex exclaimed, taking her hand and leading her into the throng of people. They danced and laughed, losing themselves in the joy of the night, their connection deepening with every shared glance and touch. As the event wound down, the community gathered around a large bonfire, the flames flickering in the cool night air. Alex and Zara settled on a bench at the edge, their hands intertwined. You know, Zara said, glancing at the firelight dancing in his eyes, I think we've created something truly special here. Yeah, we did, he agreed, warmth blooming in his chest. And it feels like we're just getting started. She turned to him, her expression serious yet hopeful. What's next for us, Alex? For this world? He thought for a moment, the possibilities swirling in his mind. We continue to empower people, help them find their voices. We create spaces where everyone feels safe to share, to connect. And we never stop fighting for empathy and emotion in technology. Zara smiled, a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. I love that. And I want to do it together, wherever this journey takes us. Together, he echoed, squeezing her hand. In that moment, Alex realized that he had found his purpose, not just in the work they were doing, but in the love that had blossomed between them. Their journey was just beginning, and he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With Zara by his side, he knew they could overcome anything. In the days that followed, their initiative continued to grow, evolving into a movement that swept across the city. They hosted workshops, brought in speakers, and created collaborative art projects, each endeavor fostering deeper connections and sparking meaningful conversations. Every event reinforced Alex's belief in the power of community, and he found himself falling more in love with Zara's passion and drive. They complemented each other perfectly, her fiery spirit balanced by his analytical mind. One evening, over him. We've built something incredible together, and it's just the beginning. Zara turned to him, her gaze thoughtful. Do you ever think about what's next? I mean, beyond the foundation and the workshops? Alex took a moment to consider. I do. I think about how we can reach even more people, maybe even create digital platforms to connect with those who can't join us in person. We could host webinars, online courses, something that breaks down barriers. I love that idea, she said, her enthusiasm palpable. We could even incorporate storytelling, share real-life experiences from the communities we've connected with. It could be a powerful way to show the impact of emotional intelligence. Exactly. It would allow us to scale our message and touch lives in ways we can't even imagine right now, he replied, feeling invigorated by their shared vision. As they stood together, the city lights twinkling below them, Alex felt a warmth surge in his chest. It wasn't just their mission that excited him, it was the thought of continuing this journey with Zara by his side. Zara, he said, hesitating for a moment as he searched for the right words. I know we've talked about the future, but I want to make sure we're not just building a movement but also nurturing what we have together. Her expression softened. I feel the same way. Our relationship is as important as our work. I want to make sure we're growing together, too. With a smile, he took her hand. Then let's promise to always prioritize each other amidst everything else. We can take time for ourselves, check in with each other, and ensure we're on the same page. Absolutely, she replied, squeezing his hand. We're in this together, in every sense. As the night wore on, they talked about their dreams, their fears, and everything in between. They shared laughter and quiet moments, each one deepening the connection they had forged through shared passion and purpose. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. They launched their digital initiatives, reaching communities they had never imagined possible. The response was overwhelming, and the foundation began to thrive in ways they had hoped for but never fully grasped. Each online event attracted participants eager to engage, to learn, and to connect. As they navigated this new territory, Alex and Zara found themselves growing closer, their shared experiences binding them in ways they hadn't anticipated. One afternoon, after a particularly successful webinar, they took a moment to celebrate. I can't believe how many people joined us today, Zara said, her excitement infectious. We're making such a difference. Every story we share matters, Alex replied, feeling a sense of pride wash over him. And we're doing it together. Later that evening, as they sat on the couch, a sense of comfort enveloped them. Alex reached for the remote, and they decided to watch a documentary about communities working to reclaim emotional connections. As they settled in, he couldn't help but glance at Zara, her eyes sparkling in the dim light. I love how passionate you are about this work, he said, his voice low. It inspires me every day. She turned to him, her gaze steady. You inspire me, too, Alex. Your commitment and creativity push me to be better, to think bigger. A warmth spread through him, and he felt a swell of gratitude for their partnership. We make a good team, don't we? The best, she agreed, a smile lighting up her face. As the documentary played, they found themselves lost in conversation, discussing ideas that sparked their imagination. Each new thought flowed seamlessly into the next, and soon they were brainstorming ways to incorporate multimedia elements into their workshops, blending art, music, and storytelling. Hours passed unnoticed, and as they wrapped up their conversation, Zara looked at him thoughtfully. What if we created a traveling exhibition? Something that showcases the work we've done with communities? Alex felt a rush of excitement. That would be amazing. We could feature stories, art, and even video testimonials. It could be an interactive experience. Yes. We could invite people to contribute their own stories and art, making it a living exhibition that evolves with every stop, Zara said, her enthusiasm palpable. As they fleshed out the idea, the possibilities seemed endless. They could turn the exhibition into a way to fund their foundation, using ticket sales to support their ongoing initiatives. The next few weeks were filled with research and planning. They reached out to artists, storytellers, and community leaders, gathering contributions and securing venues. The momentum was exhilarating, and soon, they had their first exhibition planned for a gallery in their city, when the day finally arrived, the energy was electric. They stood side by side, watching as attendees flowed into the gallery, their faces lighting up as they engaged with the artwork and stories. Zara looked at Alex, her eyes shining with excitement. "Can you believe this is happening?" "It's incredible," he replied, feeling a sense of pride swell within him. "We're sharing our message in a whole new way." As guests moved through the space, they paused to read the stories, to listen to the voices of those who had contributed. It was a testament to the power of connection and emotion, and Alex felt overwhelmed by the impact they were creating. Later that evening, as they stood together amidst the laughter and conversations, Zara turned to him, her expression softening. "Thank you for being my partner in this. I couldn't do it without you." He smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. "And I couldn't do it without you. We're building something beautiful together." As the exhibition continued to unfold, they watched as people connected, sharing stories, forming friendships, and embracing the spirit of vulnerability that they had worked so hard to cultivate. Weeks turned into months, and the exhibition tour traveled to cities across the country. Each stop brought new energy, new stories, and new connections. They witnessed firsthand how their message resonated with diverse communities, igniting a spark of empathy and understanding. During one of their stops, in a small town nestled in the mountains, they met a group of teenagers eager to share their experiences. Their enthusiasm was infectious, and Zara quickly engaged them in a conversation about emotional intelligence and connection. As the workshop unfolded, Alex watched as the teens opened up, sharing their struggles and triumphs. Zara facilitated the discussion with grace, her warmth creating a safe space for vulnerability. Afterward, as they packed up, one of the teens approached Alex, her eyes bright. "Thank you for coming here. I didn't realize how important it is to talk about our feelings. This changed everything for me." His heart swelled with gratitude. "You're the reason we're doing this. Your voice matters, and I'm so glad you felt safe to share." As they continued their journey, moments like that fueled their passion and commitment. They were not just spreading a message, they were changing lives, one story at a time. One evening, after a particularly inspiring event, Alex and Zara sat outside, gazing at the stars. The air was crisp, and the serenity of the moment enveloped them. "Do you ever think about how all of this started?" Zara asked, her voice soft. "Constantly," he admitted. "It's surreal to think about where we began and how far we've come. Sometimes, I wonder if we're dreaming," she said, a smile tugging at her lips. "Then let's never wake up," he replied, his heart full. "This journey is everything I've ever wanted." As they sat together, Alex felt a sense of peace settle within him. Their connection had deepened, and the love they shared was a guiding light through every challenge they faced. In the months that followed, their exhibition continued to evolve, becoming a powerful catalyst for change. They expanded their initiatives, introducing programs for schools and workplaces, focusing on emotional intelligence and communication. The impact was profound, and the foundation began to gain recognition on a national level. They were invited to speak at conferences, sharing their experiences and insights with others passionate about creating change. As they traveled together, their bond strengthened. Each new adventure deepened their love, and Alex found himself dreaming of a future filled with possibility. One evening, while they were visiting a quaint coastal town, they took a stroll along the beach. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, and the sound of the waves created a soothing rhythm. "Zara," Alex said, his heart racing as he turned to her. "There's something I want to ask you." Her expression turned serious, and she stopped walking, looking up at him with curiosity. "What is it?" He took a deep breath, the moment feeling weighty with significance. I know we've built something beautiful together, and I want to take this journey to the next level. I want to commit to us fully, not just in our work but in our lives. Her eyes widened, and he felt the air shift around them. Alex, he continued, the words pouring out of him. I want to create a future together, a life built on love, partnership, and shared dreams. I want to explore the world with you, support each other, and build a family someday. Zara's gaze softened, and a smile broke through her initial surprise. Oh, Alex. I've thought about that, too. I can't imagine my life without you. With a surge of emotion, he took her hands in his, feeling the warmth of her connection enveloping him. Then let's do this. Let's build our life together. Her smile widened, and she stepped closer, wrapping her arms around him. Yes. 1,000 times yes. In that moment, with the sun setting behind them and the waves crashing at their feet, Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had navigated challenges, built a movement, and now they were ready to embark on the greatest adventure of all, their life together. As they kissed, surrounded by the beauty of the world, Alex realized that they had not only reclaimed their humanity, they had discovered a love that transcended everything, a love grounded in connection, empathy, and shared dreams. Together, they would continue to inspire others, nurture their relationship, and build a legacy of compassion that would last a lifetime. The journey was far from over, in fact, it was just beginning. And so, they stepped forward, hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever the future held, united in their purpose and love. The story of their journey had come full circle, yet it felt like a new chapter was just beginning, one filled with endless possibilities and boundless love.